Okay, here's the recording for SOCH 07B, and we are looking at lesson 2.02. Okay, so from this home page, you can just go right to this lesson. And the directions, there is a class recording. That's what I'm making right now. So this is what you'd be seeing if you clicked on this link. The slides are here as well, so you'll want to open up those, and then you'll want to go through, read the lesson, explore plebeians and patricians. There's a reading guide. There's a read aloud for the pages, and then I'll go through this all about Rome worksheet. That is also in the slides. So let's go into this. We can also, from the home page, you know, if you just clicked right there, you can also just go to content. And content unit 2 and lesson 2. Okay, so that will bring up the directions, and you've got the slides. Let's open those class slides right now. Okay, so if we had class, we would do this. We would do that game. It is Tuesday, February 28th. This is the day that you are supposed to be working on lesson 2.02, and it is 7th grade social studies with me, Mrs. Bremer. How did Rome get its name? What did Romans value? That's from yesterday's lesson, from 2.01. During class, remember, do your best to soar. We're going to review lesson 2.01. We'll go through today's lesson, and then, as always, complete any overdue or upgrade your grade. So the lesson 2.02 is talking about, there's a story of Cincinnatus. Have you ever heard of Cincinnatus? Have you heard of anything that sounds similar to Cincinnatus? Okay, and we'll talk about the Roman ideals of citizenship. What problems did Romans common people face, and how did they respond to them? What are roles of the plebeians, the 12 tables, the consuls and senators in Roman society? And what's the most important achievements of the Roman Republic, okay, which is a type of government system? How did they govern themselves? And if you can answer these above informations, these bullet points up here, that's how you'll know you've learned this. So let's go into the lesson and see if we can do this. Let's be bold, let's be courageous, let's be your best. First, let's go to yesterday's lesson. How did Rome get its name? And what did the Romans value? Okay, let's work now, play later, everybody, okay? So in yesterday's reading, pages 340 to 343, it talks about the landscape and how Rome was built on land that was flat, fertile, could be planted. There were lakes and springs to provide water. They could have animals because there was grassland. There was wood, timber for fuel and building. And there was also some hills that would help protect them from attacks from outside people. We did this worksheet yesterday during class as well. We looked at the geographic characteristics. Okay, these are all like different landscapes. And 6 and 4 would also go on this side, like the Tiber River and the climate. What was the weather like? Hot, sunny summers, mild, rainy winters. To where you could grow olives, with the river allowed passage to the Mediterranean Sea. The steep hills kept them from getting attacked. The lakes and springs provided them with fresh water. The fertile plain allowed them to grow wheat, and good pasture land allowed them to have oxen, sheep, and pigs. And then the legend of how Rome was founded. A she-wolf found them after they were supposed to be put to death. And again, from pages 344 to 346, goes through this story about the she-wolf finding them, and then a shepherd found them and raised them properly, and then the two brothers, one of them, they were arguing and one killed the other one. His name was Romulus, and he named the city Rome after himself. Some other reading from pages 346 to 351. Paterfamilias, the oldest living male in a family, had the absolute power. Fasces, it's a symbol of the Roman king, which had a bundle of rods tightly tied together with an axe in the center. Rex is the Latin word for king. So when think about Tyrannosaurus Rex, okay, Rex meaning king, right? Patrician, it's an aristocratic ruling family. So aristocratic means like very wealthy, well-to-do families, okay? And a republic is the government in which citizens elect a leader who rule on behalf of the people. And then there was a story about Marcus and Claudia and what their life was like on a farm, and two important values, authority and discipline, were the two most important values. So this story on these pages talked about them and what it was like living in Rome on a farm. Okay, and they knew that they had to listen to their to adults, and they had to make sure they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. Okay. The patricians were unhappy with the kings because they didn't like obeying all of the king's orders, and they wanted to have a share in the government. Okay. And so the patricians forced a king to flee Rome, and they formed a new government. And it was a republic where people would vote on who they wanted to be their leaders instead of just a king taking over. And then Horatius at the bridge, or Horatius, showed an example of loyalty and discipline. The Roman soldiers were loyal to their city, and they were willing to sacrifice their lives to defend it. The men demonstrated how disciplined they were when they stood in battle against Porcina's soldiers. So this is the soldiers here were trying to invade the city, and the Roman soldiers were loyal. So that's that. Just a reminder about Unit 1 vocabulary. Make sure that you have completed all of those. Today's reading, get your books out, pages 352 to 357. And you're going to be doing reading, and then I'm going to go through an activity that's on here. So go into the online school, find your lesson. You can go to Social 07B. You can find it on the class plan. Okay, right there. You can also go into the plan here, find the lesson, and you can, you might also have to do the pretest or getting started if you are a new student this week. Progress learning is where you can go to work on the pretest if the pretest is in your schedule. Okay, World pretest is in progress learning in the assignments. And I have the hiccups. Sorry about that. Okay. So for today's lesson, you can listen to the recording or the slides, read the lesson introduction, which I'll do that here. Open this Explore Plebeian and Patricians. There's a reading guide there. Work on that as you are reading, okay? And then I'll take a look at this All About Rome worksheet, which is also in this Explore. So like here, if you open up the lesson introduction, this is what will happen if you actually click on that lesson introduction. You will see this, okay? And then there's a student guide. Don't worry about the student guide, but if you go to the Explore, so I'm going to click this arrow, and that's going to take me to the Explore. Plebeians versus Patricians. Okay, here is a reading guide. Here's all about the Roman Republic, which we're going to go over in this recording. And then there's an answer key too, where you can go and check these out. Now, whenever you see things like this, patricians, if you click on it, it gives you a definition, a plebeian, the commoners of ancient Rome. Okay, patricians are the wealthy, or the aristocratic ruling families. Okay, so that's what you can do when you click on those. So the introduction, you will read about the brave soldier, or you read about the brave soldier Horatius, who saved Rome by risking his own life. The Romans told that story for centuries because they admired the values it conveyed. But no matter how loyal or brave or hardworking they were, soldiers and other common people in Rome often had to endure poverty and even slavery. Even the common men who became wealthy did not have a voice in government. How could the common people make life better for themselves and their families? How could they make the republic they loved a better place for all citizens? All right, so again, we're in the country of what is now Italy, okay, in the city called Rome. So this is where you're going to skim and read pages 352 to 357, a matter of class, plebeian versus patricians. So read about the plebeians and the patricians. So basically it's rich versus poor, kind of, okay? Patricians and plebeians in the Roman Republic, what were their roles? And then there's a story of Cincinnatus and the American Cincinnatus. So open that reading guide as you go through these pages, all right? And again, the reading guide is in this Explore, Plebeians and Patricians. The read aloud is right there if you need that. Okay, here are the reading guide questions. What were some of the problems Rome's common people faced, and how did they respond to them? What did the plebeians accomplish by changing the laws? Describe the roles of the consuls. Describe the role of the Senate. Describe the centuriate and the tribal assemblies. We're going to go into these a little bit more in detail in the next lesson. And what were some successful features of the Republic? And how did Cincinnatus and the Roman people demonstrate citizenship? List some examples from the story of Cincinnatus. So these questions will make sense as you go through the reading, okay? Describe some of the values Cincinnatus demonstrated. So Cincinnatus is the name of a person. Okay, so we have who or what am I? A consul, a plebeian, a senate, or the 12 tables. So you're going to identify each of these. I am one of the 2 officials responsible for overseeing the government. Who am I? So it's one of these. I am the most powerful body in the Roman Republic. What am I? I am the written laws of the Roman Republic. What am I? I am a member of the common people or class. Who am I? My members come from wealthy landowning families. What am I? I eventually gained a voice in the Roman Republic. Who am I? I am elected to a 1-year term. Who am I? So all of these go with one of these 4. We will do this in class. Okay, and then the Roman Republic worksheet. So thinking about the United States, we have a president, we have a House of Representatives and a Senate, and we have a Constitution. What in the Roman Republic, they have Senate and assemblies, 12 tables. What do